Master Skywalker took all of us through a series of exercises he said he'd learned from his teachers, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Yoda. The exercises were typically little things that seemed on the surface to be child's play. Trying some of them seemed silly. But Tian, a slender silver-haired scholar and singer, and Corran, a green-eyed witch from Dathomir, and even the hermit gas prospector from Bespin, Streen, all approached these things with an open wonder and humor that made being silly a lot easier for me. Master Skywalker stood before us, having arranged us in a semicircle on the grassy clearing near the great temple. This is an exercise in 2 parts. The key here is learning to control perceptions. First, you need to make certain that the data coming in is correct. Filtering out distractions or sharpening a sense to gather more information will let you do that. The second thing we will deal with is determining truth or falsehood of what you perceive. I scratched at the back of my neck. Truth and falsehood seem pretty straightforward to me. Many of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our own point of view. Luke smiled indulgently at me. You would like an example to show this? I nodded. Luke's blue eyes narrowed until they became chips of ice in shadowed wells. You all know of Darth Vader as the most vile creature that ever lived. But I tell you this, he was good. There was inside Darth Vader the core of the man he had once been. In Vader's final moments, he rejected his master, the Emperor, and killed him. Another apprentice raised his head. I thought you killed the Emperor. Luke shook his head. I was just the instrument of change that allowed Darth Vader to redeem himself. I leaned forward. You must have made a powerful appeal to him. I did. Love is a powerful tool to employ against the dark side. Luke hesitated for a moment. And the love of a son for his father is what saved Darth Vader. My flesh puckered, and I suppressed a shudder when the realization that Luke Skywalker was Darth Vader's son finally exploded in my brain. Luke looked down at the ground, almost penitent. I have told you this to provide Corran his example, and to lower a barrier between us. You have the last of my secrets now. I trust you with it, and look forward to when you will trust me with whatever secrets trouble you. His head came up and his face brightened, shattering the dull mood that had settled over us. Brooding over this will waste the day, so I want to return to the exercise. You will choose a partner, and each of you will bear a forearm. You will close your eyes and use what you have been taught to block feeling to that forearm. Then each of you will take a small stone and grasp it between the thumb and forefinger of the non-numbed arm. Using your remaining senses, you are to bring that stone as close as possible to touching the other person's flesh as you can. The goal is to come as close as possible to touching without actually doing so, and to react only when a touch is sensed but not felt. Once you sense the touch of the stone through the Force, tap your partner's arm. I partnered up with Tian and knelt knee to knee with her. We both drew our sleeves back from our left forearms and presented them. Then I tried to sense Tian's presence. I realized I was really trying to spread myself too thin. First of all, I needed to be able to sense Tian's arms, not her whole body and presence. Narrowing the task before me made it far more manageable. I shifted my thinking around to a new paradigm, in which I saw the hairs on my arm exuding little force tendrils that wove themselves into a glowing mesh. As her pebble approached my skin, I watched it penetrating layers of my screen. As her stone touched the last layer, I tapped her elbow. Then I shifted my concentration to my right hand. I projected similar tendrils from my fingers, forming them into a capsule that surrounded my stone. As the stone got closer and closer to her flesh, the color shifted, and I halted my movement without touching her. The sound of Luke's voice brought me out of my introspection. I want you to place your pebble in the palm of your partner's hand. I want you then to reach out and use the force to make it move. If you can lift it clear of your partner's palm, so much the better. I drew in a deep breath and let it out slowly. I bent my will to shifting the stone. Nothing. It did not help at all that Tian's stone danced in my palm as if a groundquake was shaking the planet. Her sharp giggle, half shriek, half laugh, let me know that she'd sensed the rock's movement. I tried again to push and make my rock move, but got nothing. I opened my eyes and looked up at Master Skywalker. I'm not even moving the dust on this rock. Luke smiled. The pace may be different, but the progression is the same for all of you. Setbacks are expected. Success and failure will always be part of your training. Over the next several days, we rotated through a series of exercises that underscored my inability to feel the Force. Whereas Luke used the aphorism, "size matters not," to encourage others to forget their doubts, with me it became praise for even the least little twitch of a rock. Something had to give, and I thought I saw a way to make it happen. Luke had arranged us in a circle around a huge boulder buried halfway into the ground. He nodded toward it. This rock, for all we know, is really just the top of a long plinth. Moving it may take a titanic and sustained effort. If the Force is not flowing, the task will not be completed. He looked at each of us. Who would be first to try? Master, if you please. I bowed my head toward him. I would be the first. Luke looked at me. Do you think you are ready? I shrugged. Perhaps in focusing on small things, I have closed myself down to the Force. To feel it, I must open myself to something more grand. I must move this rock, therefore I will move it. The Jedi Master nodded. It is yours to do, then. Closing my eyes, I drew in a deep breath. Exhaling it slowly, I let my senses expand and touch Tian and Streen on either side of me. Then my consciousness leaped link by link until I knew where everyone was in the circle. From there I began to work inward, and as I did so, I began to feel the first faint tingles of energy. By slowly modifying a thought here, calming a doubt there, setting aside fear and encouraging hope, I changed how the Force flowed within me. I let it erode from the inside out, all the walls isolating me from the universal torrent of Force energy. With the first breach in my defenses, the Force slammed into me. It filled me up in an instant, and I imagined it leaking from my eyes, nose, and mouth. I wanted to shout and dance with joy. It was what I felt when Mirax first said she loved me. It was the scent of the perfume my mother wore, and the warm laugh my father used to have when he was proud of me. It was everything that was good and right and positive and alive, and it was waiting for me to bend it to my will. Newly empowered, I reached out for the stone. I grit my teeth against the effort. Before my mind's eye, I saw it quiver and shake. Slowly at first, it began to move upward. The stone came fully clear of the ground, but that was not enough for me. I could feel the Force pulsing into me, full and insistent. I lifted the rock up so high that I knew I would be able to see beneath it and find Master Skywalker across the circle from me. I smiled and opened my eyes. The rock remained in the ground. I stared at it and tried to remember if I'd heard it crash back down. I couldn't remember such a sound, nor could I remember feeling the shockwave that would have resulted. I couldn't believe it had not moved, because I knew I had felt the Force, and I knew the rock had flown. Then I noticed that all the others, every single one of them, were looking at the spot in the air where I had seen the rock floating. Across from me, Luke looked around at the other students, then gently passed a hand through the air, causing them to blink and rub their eyes. What Corran did or did not do here should not concern you. Instead, be happy knowing yet another of you is past the first hurdle on the road to becoming a Jedi Knight. The next morning I found Master Skywalker waiting for me in my chamber after I finished my daily run. Hovering above his outstretched palm, I saw a milky jade crystal block. You remember what this is? A Jedi holocron. It contains histories and wisdom and information about the Jedi collected through the years. Exactly right. Luke cupped his hands and touched the floating cube with his fingertips. The crystal flared white for a moment, Then the hologram of a hunched insectoid creature with a bulbous carapace congealed above it like a green ghost. The creature oriented itself toward Luke.
"Greetings, Jedi,"
it intoned.
"I am Bodobas, the gatekeeper of the holocron. Do you have a question for me?"
Luke looked through the hologram at me. "Gatekeeper, explain the power classified as Alter Mind to Kieran Halcyon." The gatekeeper fixed me with a stare.
"Through the power known as Alter Mind, a Jedi can project her perception of reality into the mind of another, or project an illusion or conclusion that she needs the other to hold as true. The dark side lurks nearby in this power, so it should be used with caution."
Luke released the holocron and the gatekeeper evaporated. I was concerned about how easily you managed to make us all see what you wanted us to see, which is why I consulted the holocron about your ability. I think you should be very careful about how you employ it. Got it, I smiled.